Hello friends and welcome back to another video. This video I have made regarding a topic which is there nowadays in current affairs as well as I expect that some question either in prelims or the upcoming memes may be asked from this. So demographic India and future challenges. I've tried to cover both the things in this. Firstly, what is our growth of population and the overall study of our population, which is covered under demography, and what future challenges it poses as a nation to us. So these two factors will be covering in this video. And my whole idea for preparing this video was that you guys are you get the approach as to how you have to create your own notes, because friends, ultimately these are the only things which we remember during the exams. Okay, so you may read a lot of printed material, but these are the only things which you actually uh, remember at the time of going in the exam. Also have such type of crux ideas with regard to these issues. So let's start with with this video. So first, let's go to some basic statistics, and these basic statistics will tell you that what is India's global position. Okay, so India is the most populated country in the world. As we all know now, it has crossed China, and it was recently also in the news articles. So we have taken over China as the world's most populous country now, and we are at 1.42 billion mark. India is sixth of the world's population. Okay, so roughly you can take down that it has around, like some 18% of the world's population. Now, population density is 473 persons per kilometer. So, लगभग 500 लोग एक स्क्वायर किलोमीटर के अंदर इंडिया में पैक्ड है. So you can imagine that how much high population density we are having. Okay, compared to global uh, scales, they are having less than 100% per square kilometer. So we have a very huge pressure on our resources because we are a highly population dense nation. Then India occupies 2.4% of the globe but has a population of 18% that of the world. So again, an important statistics. So area wise, as I've given in the brackets also, area wise we are seventh and population wise we are first. So we are having a very less geographical space, but when it comes to number of people, more people are packed in that space, and roughly 72% population, India's population still lives in villages and the rest in cities. Now this is according to the all these figures which I have taken are according to the last census. But if you go to the latest figures, around 67% of the population is in the villages. So roughly you can assume that one third of the population has has been now living in cities, and it is expected that by 2040 more than 50% or around 50% population will be residing in the cities. So we are becoming day by day we are becoming more urbanized, because naturally people will travel to the cities in search of the job, better employments and better living. नाउ ट्रेंड्स ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ इन इंडिया. फ्रेंड्स, कोई भी टॉपिक आप जब पढ़ते हो यूपीएससी के लिए, तो उसकी इस तरीके से आप टाइमलाइन लिया करो. उस जस्ट गो एंड स्टडी इट हिस्टोरिकली एज टू हाउ the progress has happened. So here you can see that from 10,000 BC up till Mauryan Empire, the population was increasing at a steady rate. तो steady increasing rate था from the historic Stone Ages to 186 BC. Now you can just correlate with ancient India timeline, which we have done in the previous video. What might be the reason? That Mahajanpadas were there. There were relatively good area available for the settlements. Urbanization was slowly growing. Kingdoms were slowly getting consolidated. And with the rise of the Mauryan Empire, it also saw the consolidation of the areas because a strong Mahajanpad has emerged. So naturally, when there are less amounts of war or less amount of clashes, the population increases in that area. Now, population growth slowed down from medieval era around 600 BC till 700 AD. Again, you can relate that what has happened after the fall of the Mauryan Empire, and this population growth started to slow down. So there was still a growth, but the growth was a bit slowed as compared to the previous years. Then population started decreasing after, that is after 700 AD till 1500 AD. This also consoles with the historical period of the Sultanate invasions, and as the invasions started, this era saw a lot of wars happening. So all these sultanates, Khilji dynasties, the Iltutmish, Kutubuddin Aibak, and all those till Muhammad bin Tughlaq and all those persons, they have been uh, invasions and a constant warfare in different parts of the country. So population growth started to decrease till 1500 AD. Again, under Mughal era, Mughal Empire in India experienced high economic and demographic surge. Why? You can again correlate. When the Mughal Empire came, the area consolidation happened, the law and order improved, and there was also a large number of the cities which sprang up. I have given one of the interesting fact that under the reign of Akbar, India's urban population was greater than the urban population of Europe at that time. So you can imagine that so much was the um rise in the number of the cities that time. Okay, so now this chart and this graph will give you a very good picture of how our population growth has been. Okay, so you can see roughly it is that now this is after post our independence. So first census was conducted in 51, and then every decade we are been take I mean post census post independence. This was the first census, and then we can see that slowly and slowly the population growth rate was there, but it is decreasing. So 2001 to 2011, if we see, there is a growth, but the growth rate has dropped. So change is 17%. Okay, so the growth is coming. So probably our graph will become steadier like this. It will get on horizontal, and that should happen as the nation develops also. Okay, so 1.2 billion है यहाँ पे mark, and this is the rough graph which you can use. Here is the population in million, 80s, 90s, 2000. You can use this chart anywhere, wherever you want, in essay writing or in mains answer writing. So use and develop your own simplistic chart. That is why I have shown it here. Okay, now comes the second important part as to what are the religious demographics in India. Friends, first ये समझ लीजिए कि religious the demography is the study of the population on various fronts. Okay, तो demography जब हम ये जो term use करते हैं, इसके नीचे हम उस population की systematic analytical study करते हैं. It can be on religious front, it can be in terms of sex ratio, it can be in terms of literacy ratio. Okay, so it can be linguistic demography, we'll see in the later slides. So all these statistics helps us to understand the within a population of the country, how are the interactions going. All right, so here for example, if we see percentage of the population, so percentage, if we go by the absolute numbers, then 79.80% belong to Hindu religion. Okay, so 80% of the population approximately is Hindu, 15% is Muslims, 2.3% is Christians, and then 6 Buddhist Jain. Just remember the formula SBJ. So 6 Buddhist Jains. So you can remember this in the really decreasing percentages. Okay, 8%, 5%, and rest 1% constitute some other religions which do not fall under these. Now comes another important statistics, that is growth. So what was the growth of these population? Okay, we know that there may be 17% was the average growth in the population. That was for the whole of the country. But when it comes to religions population growth, these are the percentages. So Hindu population grew by 16.8, or roughly you can say 17%. So it is around national average. Now Christians grew by 15.5%, again near about 17% of the average. Sikhs, Buddhists and Jains are less than average, so 8.4%, 6.1%, 5.4%. And there is a huge growth rate in the Muslim population. So it is 24.6%, which is again because one of the community, it is seeing that the growth rate is faster. So naturally there are, multiple times you will be reading in the newspapers that some population control measures has to be introduced, or such things are there. We'll see later on all those social and other issues are there, but these are the absolute numbers which we are having. Okay, then sex ratio. So the total number of females to per thousand males, if we see, so sex ratio is also a very good indicator, because if it is high, it means that the number of females, they're getting the equal rights. There is no female feticides, or there is good care of infant and adolescents taken care of. We'll see all those issues also later on. So sex ratio indicates basically the number of females per thousand males of the population. So it is, if we go, it is highest if we see it is in Christians, then it is second highest in Muslims, and then Buddhists, and Hindu, Sikhs and Jains, it is very less. Okay, so it is not necessarily a indicator of any social status or anything, but uh, if we see the case of Sikhs, it is alarmingly less, or Jains, it is alarmingly less. So there are multiple social factors behind this. For example, on economic front, the Jain community might be doing very well, but when it comes to sex ratio, if we see that it is just 889, so this is way below national average of 940. 940s are overall national average. And similarly in Sikh community, if we see that it is 828, so this has to be improved. Then comes the literacy rate, another important indicator of demographic study. The literacy rate is the rate of the persons which are which have completed the secondary schooling. Okay, so now we are taking that mark, but we literacy rate again in our country, many secondary schools are not up to the mark, or there are some persons who are secondary, because we believe that he literate, we are saying that he can read and write, ओनली इस चीज को हम लिटरेट पकड़ते हैं, उसका उस चीज से कोई लेना देना नहीं है कि व्हाट लेवल ऑफ एजुकेशन इज हैविंग. ओके, सो दोस दीज टू आर completely separate terms. Anyways, going by this, we see that literacy rate is very high amongst gens. So this is that. Then it is very again higher in Christian and Buddhist communities. It is also high in Sikh community. But when it comes to literacy rate, both Hindu and Muslim population, the literacy rate is very less. So again, these have to be improved. Now coming to the trend in India's sex ratio in the last 70 years. So as I said that separate question can have also been come many a times on this factor. Now, if we go by these this particular graph, it will show you that how the sex ratio has traveled. Actually, this graph is males per thousand female. That's why this 100 is coming. Actually, you need to multiply this by 10 times in order to get the uh, ratio. But anyways, if we see the graph, we should understand that from 91 onwards till 2011, there is a constant decrease. Okay, so there is a constant decrease, and we can see that here the dip came. Okay, here the dip has come. And why this dip has come? Because there is a ultrography Dopplers, ultrography female. This basically led to sex identification of the child before being born. So when this technology came and it was started to commercialize in India, so people immediately started to terminate or increased in the abortions, leading to the fall in number of the females. So naturally females number जब fall होने लग गए तो males के number बढ़ गए. So if we see this decade, because it is males per 100 females, okay, this graph is a slightly opposite. Actually it should have been females per males, but in the Wikipedia I have taken this graph from Wikipedia, so there it was like. Anyway, this indicates that this decade you can see that there is a high increase in the number of males. So naturally the number of the female feticides were increased in this decade. Then we also brought PCPNDT Act, that is to prevent this neonatal terminations. And after that we can see that slowly and slowly the conditions are improving. Okay, so slowly the sex ratio started to improve. But again, we have a lot to work in order to achieve this 200. This 100 जब हो जाएगा इसका मतलब है हमारा equalize हो जाएगा number of males and number of females, but as of now we are 106. Then comes trends in infant mortality and total fertility rate. Again, these two are very economic indicators, friends. Now I have taken some of the important factors from National Family Health Survey. So कोई भी टॉपिक का आप यूपीएससी में प्रिपेयर करते हो तो आपको कई सारे मिनिस्ट्रीज में के वेबसाइट्स पे, स्पेशली व्हेन आई वाज प्रिपेयरिंग, देयर वर 4 to 5 ministries websites we used to check. One was Ministry of Science and Technology, the other was Ministry of Health, the third was Ministry of Education or Ministry of HRD. Then you can also check Ministry of Youth and Sports and Youth Affairs. So these are 4 to 5 important ministries. यहाँ पे आपको बहुत अच्छे अच्छे रिपोर्ट्स मिल जाएंगे, और उन रिपोर्ट्स को, ऑफ कोर्स द रिपोर्ट्स आर वेरी बल्की, बट आप शॉर्ट शॉर्ट पे वो चीजें उठा लीजिए और अपने यहाँ पे कहीं पे एकोमोडेट कर दीजिए. फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर रीडिंग डेमोग्राफी, यू कम अक्रॉस सर्टन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स, एकोमोडेट इट हियर. आप एजुकेशन इन इंडिया के बारे में एक चीज प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, एक नोट प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, एक स्टडी कर रहे हैं, वहां पे उसको इनकॉर्पोरेट कीजिए. हेल्थ के बारे में कोई टॉपिक प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, आई एम गोइंग टू कमिट लेटर ऑन टू दीज थिंग्स. So these things will benefit to you in two ways. First, the data for the prelims is getting prepared. Second, your answer writing in mains will become absolutely strong, because these graphs and such self-written notes, they can be easily reproduced when you are doing the answer writing practice. So here, firstly, let's see what is TFR. So TFR is TFR means average number. Total fertility rate is the average number of the children a particular female bears when she is in the fertile age. So normally what happens, fertile age is considered like the legal age for the marriage is 18 years. From there on till roughly 40 years or 45 years is considered to be a fertile period. Fertile period is the period where there is a high possibility of a person bearing a child or becoming a parent. सो टोटल फर्टिलिटी रेट में नॉर्मली आप कितने चिल्ड्रंस या बेयर करते हो एज अ फ्रॉम द फीमेल परस्पेक्टिव, दैट काउंट इज टेकन. As of now, we are slightly above 2. So our total fertility rate is slightly above 2. Means average, I am saying average of whole, means हर एक at least all the couples in India have 2 or more child on an average. So we are trying to bring it below 2. ओके, बिलो 2. सो अगर आपको पॉपुलेशन स्टेबलाइज करनी है, जैसे चाइना में 1 चाइल्ड पॉलिसी है, तो उनके यहाँ पे देर इज नो क्वेश्चन ऑफ bearing the second child at all, because by the law itself it has been curtailed. But we do not have such measures as of now. Only only thing is that some states may have measure like not bearing 3 childs, or 3 child or more are barred from certain government benefits and like that, free education and all. But again, we don't have anything such as TFR, oh sorry, the population control. We see on the later on slides. Now, as I said, it is largely we have reached till 2. Okay, so roughly around 2 we are, but we have to further reduce it. And here you can see the two graphs. One is infant mortality rate. So infant mortality rate has been continuously falling. So infant mortality rate क्या होता है कि when per 1,000 children are being born, then per 1,000 live births are happening, then what, how many of the infants are not able to survive? Okay, so there are both the things happening. One is that due to lack of medical care, the before being born the child may suffer the mortality, or after being born immediately he may succumb it. So infant mortality rate counts all such things. Okay, and we will come to the later on the what are the factors behind it, but just remember that it is continuously falling. Now why? Obviously due to increase in good medical facilities this rate will fall. Okay, and because of the falling of infant mortality rate, our population is bound to increase. तो infant mortality rate fall हो रहा है तो automatically population आपका, because many children will be born, and automatically there is a expansion or rise in the population. Now Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Manipur have high TFR. So these are the states which have very high total fertility rate. In Nagaland, only 46% births were institutional births. Now this is a very alarming statistics. Not even 50% of the births are taking in hospitals. So it is very high risk to the mother as well as the child if they are not able to get to the hospitals. In 7 states, if we see, they are more than 90% institutional, whereas in Kerala, if we see, it is 100% births are institutional. So all the population has access to the hospitals. Then friends, one more important fact is stunting, stunting of the child. So stunting क्या होता है? Low height as per the age. So his age and his height will not be matching. So it has increased in 11 states. It is very high in rural areas than urban. Naturally, because of the lack of nutrition, this indicates nutritional standards, friends. Nutrition का बहुत बड़ा effect होता है stunting पे. Highest is in Meghalaya and lowest is in Pondicherry. So highest stunting if we go, it is in Meghalaya and lowest in Pondicherry. Then there is a notable decrease in UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Manipur. These are the areas which had high stunting during the previous census, but if we go by the current health survey which happened, they have indicated some good better results in these areas, and stunting has been notably decreased. Then as I said, IMR is very high in Bihar. So naturally when the state is there are again fast developing states and slower developing states within our country. So if we go towards slower developing states like Bihar, the IMR is very high, and Assam saw a significant decrease in IMR. So one state which saw a significant decrease was Assam. So all such things, see, I didn't get much time, but if I can collect such statistics from NFHS, you guys can also do it. The whole purpose is to tell you how you will be able to do it. Then comes another important study, which is linguistic demography. So again, if we see Hindi, various languages and how they are spoken and divided. So roughly we have 122 languages spoken in India and 234 mother tongues. That is some huge statistics, friends. There's no other nation in the world probably. If we equate, we are second to African, the whole of the African continent. So जितना अफ्रीका में टोटली लैंग्वेज बोले जाते हैं उतने हमारे यहाँ पे एक कंट्री में बोले जाते हैं, इतने ज़्यादा लैंग्वेजेस है. 22 languages are, of course, you all know, they are in the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Now there are four major families of languages. So if we go, I'm not going into detail क्योंकि इसको फिर अलग एक टॉपिक में हमको कवर करना पड़ेगा. Just remember that Indo-European, Dravidian, Austro-Asiatic and Sino-Tibetan, ये 4 languages जो है इस तरीके से उनको डिफाइन किया गया. मोस्ट ऑफ द नॉर्थ इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस आर इंडो यूरोपियन लैंग्वेजेस, इंडो आर्यन लैंग्वेजेस, Then there are Dravidian languages. Austroasiatic are the languages which are spoken in the tribal areas, and Sino-Tibetan, are spoken in the areas which are the Sikkim, the parts of northeastern states, and Leh Ladakh province. So these fall under this family. These are language families. Now there are two language isolates. Okay, so they just if they ask in prelims, which do not qualify anywhere. One is Nihali, which is spoken in Maharashtra, and one is Burshaki, which is spoken in Jammu and Kashmir. So they do not classify under any of these four families. Now, now again the population in the cities with the point we have just discussed. So as per 2001, roughly 28% were living in the cities, and that is now 34% as per the World Bank statistics. Goa is the most urbanized state, while Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala are also highly urbanized. Okay, and Bihar, UP, Odisha, and Assam are below the average levels. So here, naturally, the more urbanized states are where the developments are taking up very fast, and the other states they are below the average level. So naturally, there is going to be the issue of automatically migration triggering from here. Some of the major schemes which we have developed for the to tackle this is smart cities, Amrut, Swachh Bharat, PM Awas Yojana, Hriday. You can incorporate tons of it, whatever information you have. Then top five cities if we see are Mumbai, Delhi in the order. Okay, so first largest city is Mumbai, then Delhi, third comes Bangalore, fourth comes Hyderabad, and fifth comes Ahmedabad. Now prepare a note of causes implicated. So these I've just put here in order for you to prepare your own notes, like what are the causes of rise in the population. क्या हुआ है पहले 1950 से चालू कीजिए 50 में क्या था 50 to 60 में हमारे पास केवल 4 मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटीज थे 60 to 70 it rose to 8 70 to 80 we roughly added 10 more cities and in 90s or post 90s we have witnessed almost 25 urban cities. Now how I am able to recall these statistics, these are approximate statistics, इन्हीं को ध्यान रखिए. कोई आपसे ये सवाल कभी नहीं पूछेगा डिकेड वाइज मुझे एग्जैक्ट नंबर्स बताओ कितना, बट ये एक स्टडी करने का मेथोडोलॉजी है ना. So this is how you form a picture of how the developments have happened. So if we see post 80s, naturally there is a huge last 25 to 30 years we have almost added 25 to 40 cities. City का definition क्या है? Again, the we have divided the city as into two parts, one metropolitan and non-metropolitan. हम metropolitan जो million plus city होती है उसको metropolitan बोलते हैं. उसके नीचे जो होती है उसको हम सिटी तो बोलते हैं मगर जहाँ पे मेट्रोपॉलिटन का स्टेटस उसको नहीं देते. फॉर एग्जांपल वहाँ कोई नगर परिषद रहेगी. वही फ्रेंड्स अर्बन कॉन्ग्लोमरेट्स है. अर्बन कॉन्ग्लोमरेट्स क्या है कि जहाँ पे एक ही सिटी नहीं, जहाँ पे कई सिटीज है. Okay, so many of these cities are coming together and a bunch of this is formed like Mumbai or Delhi. Delhi includes NCR also. तो यहाँ एक बड़ा अर्बन कॉन्ग्लोमरेट तैयार हो चुका है. Okay, so all these things, you when you will prepare a topic, prepare it this way. Go in the definitions, understand the issue, prepare a timeline of how the development has happened, and remember some important statistics. Okay, and causes, implications and future challenges. So causes क्या क्या हो सकते हैं? Rise in urban, see first of all better education, better health facilities, wages. रूरल में क्या है, रूरल में ये सब चीजें अवेलेबल नहीं है. So naturally the cities provide a chance to the individual, so they migrate towards the city. Then what are the implications? One of the social causes you can take is the rise of the slums, sewage, water drinking facilities, pollution, and transport infrastructure. So these are going to be the implications with the rise of the cities. And what are the future challenges? As our population grows, more and more persons are from rural economy. We are transforming ourselves into urban economy. So as we do it, we need smart solutions. We need proper housing. We need proper access to the services. We need to develop sustainable transportation. We need to ensure that the quality of the living in the cities is proper. We need to ensure the safety of the citizens, and there also has to be safeguarding from the natural disasters. Okay, so all these things, you can put under future challenges. Okay, another important aspect of demographic study is age structure of India. So एज स्ट्रक्चर जो है वो इंडिया का कैसा है? तो इफ वी सी 0 to 14, so we have roughly 27% population which is falls between 0 to 18. And if we go by 15 to 54 age group, these are age group wise, then it is 58% friends, and rest is 15%. तो इसी से आप अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि मैक्सिमम वर्कफोर्स जो है हमारी वो 15 टू 54 में हम फॉल होते हैं. दिस इज द वर्केबल, क्योंकि एक्चुअली इट इज 60 बट लेट्स कंसीडर इट रफली 54. सो वी कैन कंसीडर दैट around 58% of the population. So we have no issue with the workforce or the labor supply available. ओके उसकी हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है उस फ्रंट पे, जैसे जापान या सम कंट्रीज और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज आर फेसिंग द फॉल इन द दिस एज ग्रुप, and they will be needing to import their workforce from other nations. We do not see any cause of concern on this front, but this is again, as I said, blessing in disguise, because अब हमारे ऊपर ओनस बनता है कि हम इनका यूज कैसे करते हैं, हाउ वी डेवलप दिस ह्यूमन कैपिटल. ओके, so median age is around 28.7% and average life expectancy is 67 years. Now what this median age indicates, it means population if divided in two parts, then what is the age group? Median age generally increases. So अगर मैं एक सीधी लाइन खींच दूं, एक ऐसी लाइन मैं खींचता हूं मेरे पॉपुलेशन में कि मेरे को वो पॉइंट ऑफ डिवीजन चाहिए कि मेरे उस लाइन के ऊपर और नीचे इक्वल नंबर ऑफ पर्सन्स रहे. ओके, उस चीज वो जो लाइन जिस एज में आकर रुकेगी, अब मैं पॉपुलेशन डिवाइड करते पॉपुलेशन, आई मीन नंबर ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स, आई स्टॉप एट 28.7. नाउ एट दिस median age line, the number of persons above and below are exactly equal for country, for our country. Okay, so median age generally increases as countries develop. अब क्यों मीडियन एज जनरली इंक्रीज होगा जब कंट्रीज डेवलप होंगी? तो नेचुरली देयर आर टू कॉजेस. फर्स्ट, उनका बर्थ रेट कम है. बर्थ रेट कम है तो क्या होगा, मीडियन एज ऊपर ऊपर सरकता जाएगा, क्योंकि नीचे में जो है इन्फेंट पॉपुलेशन वो कम होते जा रहा है. ओके, सो नीचे ऊपर ऊपर जा रहा है मीडियन एज. एंड सेकेंड इज इंक्रीज इन एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन. तो उनका क्या होता है, एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है तो नेचुरली वो मीडियन लाइन को ऊपर खींचता है. सो वी हैव 28.7, and many European and US country, they have it around 40. Okay, so what it indicates, it indicates that we have relatively largely young population available which will enter the workforce soon in the upcoming time. जो हमारे upcoming decades है, अभी हम 20s में है, 2023 चल रहा है अभी, जैसे हम 2030s 2040s एंड 2050s में जाएंगे, ये सारा जो पॉपुलेशन अभी इन्फेंट है वो वर्कफोर्स में आने के लिए तैयार है. ओके, सो एज आई सेड, दिस इज अ ब्लेसिंग इन डिसगाइज. अब हमारे ऊपर है हम उनको कैसे एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करते हैं, कैसे हम उनको प्रॉपर एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ केयर देते हैं, उस बेसिस पे. विल कम टू दैट इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ओवरऑल लिटरेसी रेट इज 74%. सो वी आर टू कैच अप ऑन दिस फ्रंट. और फ्रेंड्स, लिटरेसी के ऊपर, एजुकेशन के ऊपर आप नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी रेफर कीजिए. इट्स अ डॉक्यूमेंट, आई थिंक इन मनी क्लास नोट्स आल्सो इट मस्ट बी अवेलेबल बाय नाउ. इट्स ओल्ड, नॉट न्यू. It will give you a comprehensive picture of education sector in our country. Okay, 22% is below poverty line. Now again, this is a very alarming statistics for us, because the below poverty line वो population हो गई जिसको $1 या $2 से भी कम है रोज का उसका गुजारा चल रहा है. So monthly less than 3,000 rupees, आप imagine कर सकते हैं that all this population is critically dependent on the daily to fight the survival. Okay, and in fact, if we little bit increase this below poverty line to more than like $5 or $10 is also not much a day. ओके, 6-7 हज़ार रुपए भी आज के ज़माने में क्या मायने रखती है इंडिविजुअल के लिए. सो it will go to 50% of the population also. So of our population is fighting with day to day, but 22% amongst that is critically below poverty line, which we have to immediately uplift. ये वो लोग हैं जिनको immediately हमें उस poverty line के ऊपर लाने की जरूरत है. Then unemployment rate is around 8%. So currently आप ये न्यूज में constantly पढ़ ही रहे हैं. It is अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट जो है वो 8% है. अगेन वी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों, हमारा पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ रेट अगर 17% से है और हमारा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट अराउंड 8% है, नेचुरली यू कैन इमेजिन दैट एज मोर इफ दिस रेट गोज हाई, दैट मीन्स जो आने वाली पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ है उसको हम अच्छे से एम्प्लॉय नहीं कर पा रहे. तो ये चीज को हमें टैकल करने की जरूरत है. नाउ व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस फॉर अपकमिंग डिकेट्स, ये मैंने खुद ही बनाया था बैठ के, आप लोग भी इसमें और ज्यादा एडिशंस कर सकते हो जो भी पॉइंट्स आपके लगे. नंबर वन इज प्रोवाइडिंग गुड हेल्थ केयर टू ऑल. गुड हेल्थ केयर का मतलब होता है उसको अफोर्डेबिलिटी, एक्सेसिबिलिटी और अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ द हेल्थ केयर रहना चाहिए हमेशा. ओके, अफोर्डेबिलिटी, इट शुड नॉट बी एक्सपेंसिव. accessibility, it is easily accessible, he can go. And availability, there is a doctor available to attend to it. Okay, doctor or the healthcare worker. And when we talk about good healthcare, divide it in these factors. One, infant. Second, working age groups. Then women, elderly. इन हर एक पॉपुलेशन के अपने अपने अलग हेल्थ केयर के रिक्वायरमेंट्स है. ओके, तो इन्फेंट के जो है वो एल्डरली से अलग होंगे. इन्फेंट आर मोर डिपेंडेंट ऑन वैक्सीनेशन एंड न्यूट्रिशनल केयर, दे आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन देयर पेरेंट्स. एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन जो होता है उसको चाहिए एक गुड केयर इज बीइंग टेकन फॉर हिज medicines or for his overall healthcare with a good social well-being environment. So there is also psychological need to support. So everywhere now women healthcare is again a separate issue. Lot of schemes have been introduced for that. So all these schemes you can study and put in your notes. Then providing quality education. Now when we talk about education, it is at very different stages of life. Okay, so it is elementary, then primary, secondary, higher secondary, degree level. There are also courses for skill development and vocational training, and then the very high technical workforce in terms of PGs, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट्स और स्पेशलिस्ट. सो इन सभी चीज़ों में हमें एजुकेशन को एज अ सेक्टर के चैलेंजेस समझने पड़ेंगे. ओके, एंड इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ आवर ह्यूमन कैपिटल. अगर हम इस चीज़ पे नहीं काम कर पाएंगे तो पॉपुलेशन जो हमारा एज ग्रुप है दैट विल सर्टनली बिकम लायबिलिटी. Then creating good job opportunities and employment. Now as we know, we are a service sector, largely we are generating GDP from service sector, which has limitations to absorb the manpower. Okay, so now we are trying to increase the in terms of to go ahead in manufacturing sectors, and because those are labor intensive industries, so labor intensive होता है तो naturally job absorption more होता है. तो इन सब चीज़ों के लिए हमें इसके अंदर कंसिडरेबल पॉलिसी मेकिंग करना चाहिए. देन ensuring sanitation and housing in rural and urban areas, we have already seen this factor. Various Awas Yojanas are there, various clean drinking water missions and all those were introduced for this factor. Sanitation की हम बात करते हैं तो it includes everything, right from the क्लेनलीनेस ऑफ आवर पब्लिक स्पेसेस टू हाउस होल्ड स्पेसेस. तो इन सभी चीज़ों के अंदर मेजर्स होने चाहिए एंड इट शुड बी बोथ इन द रूरल एरियाज एंड द अर्बन एरियाज. ओके, देन कम्स इरेडिकेशन ऑफ द पॉवर्टी एंड टैकलिंग ऑफ द माल न्यूट्रिशन. सो पॉवर्टी का डेफिनेशन आप यूएनडीपी के साइट से भी ले सकते हैं एंड मेक अ कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्टडी कि कितना हम लोग पॉवर्टी के इरेडिकेशन में हमने क्या क्या स्कीम्स लाए एंड हाउ आर वी एबल टू परफॉर्म ऑन दिस फ्रंट. देन Again, malnutrition is inappropriate or inadequate nutrition which is there. तो उसको हम किस तरीके से टैकल करेंगे, क्या क्या स्कीम्स हमने लाई, वो सब चीजें इसमें डालिए. ओके. Then creating infrastructure rapidly along with public transport. This is very important in the upcoming times. Since the population will increase, there will be pressure on the resources. So we need a good quality of infrastructure and good availability of the public transport. Then tackling migration and regional issues, both local and global migration. So local migration is the migration which you can call as within the country. Even there can be intra-regional migration also, like from villages to cities. And global migration is when our citizens are going in the foreign countries in search of the job, like Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, all these countries, and also the US or these countries. So it is a kind of both things. See, now their population being going there also gives us rich dividends in terms of foreign exchanges, the money which they bring back. But also we are seeing that largely जो हमारा सबसे अच्छा टेक्निकल मैन पावर है, अगर वो बार बार बाहर के कंट्रीज में जा रहा है in terms of for search of better opportunity, means we are not able to make use of these resource for the development of our country. So it's kind of like a brain drain which is happening. So we need to create adequate opportunities, adequate developmental channels, so that we do not lose the skill manpower, and it will ensure the faster development of our own country. Then bringing parity. Now when I say parity, it is between the population of men and women across all fronts. Okay, social, economic, political fronts. So there should be a parity amongst the populations. Then special care for the elderly population. As I said here, you can link these two factors, and any other schemes for the elderly population you can add. Special, you can also add for disabled peoples also. Reducing the birth rate by various measures like awareness, contraceptives, benefits of withdrawal for having two or more now population control bill. All these things, so we have some we have experimented, some we are yet to try, but we'll keep on doing innovative measures in order to uh, control this population growth. Okay, and what we have been doing. So here I have put some of the things which I discussed in the previous slides. So अभी हम क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, इसके लिए आप इसमें स्कीम्स डालिए सेक्टर वाइज. वो क्या क्या रहेगा, पहला एजुकेशन फ्रंट पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल सर्व शिक्षा अभियान हमने चलाया. ओके. फिर हम हेल्थ हेल्थ फ्रंट पे क्या कर रहे हैं, हमने फ्री वैक्सीनेशंस लाए, पोलियो हमने इरेडिकेट किया. फिर हमने जो क्रिटिकल डिजीजेस थे जैसे मलेरिया, टीबी, इसके लिए हमारे अलग अलग प्रोग्राम्स चल रहे. Then we have special schemes for adolescent girls. Then we have another schemes which takes which ensures कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा institutional deliveries हो. Okay, so all these things, and anemia, we have another schemes to tackle anemia as well. So bring all those schemes on the health front here. Okay, when you prepare the notes. Then employment front, स्किल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम्स हमने लाए, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन इंक्रीज किया, एनएसडीसी हमने फॉर्म किया. ऑल दीज यू कैन एंटर ऑन द एम्प्लॉयमेंट फ्रंट. फिर यूथ एंड स्पोर्ट्स अफेयर्स, इसमें हम क्या क्या कर रहे हैं, वेरियस इनिशिएटिव्स जिससे हम इंश्योर करते हैं कि हमारे यूथ को स्पोर्ट्स में बढ़ावा मिले, और एट द सेम टाइम we can introduce such schemes that they are able to make the most productive use of themselves. Then women and child care front, इस पे आप डाल सकते हो. elderly population front already we know. population control measures, some hints I had given you in the previous slide. तो हम अभी तक क्या क्या करते आ रहे हैं उन सबका प्रॉपर ये बनाइए. These two, population policy and NEP, that is National Education Policy, I found it very useful. You guys can also incorporate this when you are preparing the demography study. ओके. सो इस तरीके से लिंक्ड वे में अगर आप पढ़ाई करेंगे तो इट विल बी इजी फॉर यू टू रिमेंबर एज वेल एज रिकॉल, एंड योर आंसर राइटिंग फॉर द मेंस विल इंक्रीज सिग्निफिकेंटली. ओके. So I think friends, I hope this video is useful. Comment if you require any more videos on any specific topic to me, and keep studying, keep working hard. Okay, all the best.